Welcome to the Divine Channel. If you're new to this channel, my name is Siobhan and I am a direct channel. I work with Spirit to bring through messages for your highest good and the highest good of the collective. If these messages resonate with you, just take them as confirmation or validation or of a trigger or catalyst for something that's wanting to be known within you or in your relationship with Spirit. These readings and the mediumship that I do is not intended to invoke any fear or anything that you don't align to. So just take that and let's go. So the message that was coming through today is about Atlantis. This actually came up in the members soul family live stream that we did earlier this week on my other channel, It's Tarot and Beyond. There was a lot of confirmation. It was interesting because I was getting these messages about the Sphinx coming through. I will have posted that video by the time this one goes out, and a lot of stuff to do with Egypt, and those are often for me associated with Atlantean timelines. And then I had some members on that side of the channel who are astrologers talking about how the North Node in Pisces is connected to the 12th house of past lives and past life stuff coming up, and also how Atlantis being indicated in some of the, specifically the sidereal astrology, which I don't know how to do, so I'll take their word for it. But I just know what I've been getting. And the first thing that Spirit wants us to talk about today, or that they've been channeling through, was messages about Atlantis, healing, and chambers. They were showing me stuff to do with the Sphinx, and I know that there is rumored to be a chamber underneath or within the Sphinx that has some kind of untapped information or ancient information or technology, I don't know. But there's something about Atlantis, and then they said healing chambers. And they had me sort of highlight each one independently, Atlantis being one thing, healing being one thing, and chambers being another thing, even though I initially channeled it out as Atlantis and then healing chambers. Then they said energy shifts occurring, new waves versus old waves. And when I asked for clarification on what they meant by that, they said different higher vibrations expanded, now becoming available. And then they were showing me these octaves, or these like shifts or raising of the frequency in terms of like music notes, and how on a scale the music notes will ascend like that. And then they said upscale, not as in like an upscale place or something like that, more like the upward scale. So I actually looked up upscale meaning in music, and it said an ascending scale, a set of notes that increases in pitch from the lowest to the highest note. And it's funny because they were showing me synchronicities about that as well. I was watching a video about somebody talking about a difficult song, and the reason it was challenging for them vocally was because it went really high and then dropped down, and then went really high and then dropped down. So there's something about this range, this energetic scale, and when we're looking at Atlantean timelines, this is quite low. I mean, it started high and then it dropped down after the fall, and so we may be reviewing some of those past life or those karmic connections. I'm hearing karmic connections and how they affect our energy signature, how they bring it up and how they bring it down. They're showing me a suit of armor right now, and that was actually a reference that they were showing me leading up to sitting down and doing this reading. They were showing me armor in different ways, and I was interpreting that as almost like light armor. So the more that you increase your frequency, the more that your light body is able to strengthen, it builds itself out, and it acts as a type of armor that is impenetrable. That's another word. When I was showering this morning, I heard impenetrable. So there's a level of protection here that is innate when we're accessing these higher scales of frequency, of consciousness, and of embodiment. And these are becoming accessible now because these energy shifts are occurring. And it's like we're kind of getting stepped up in terms of the frequencies that are A, available, and B, that we can actually integrate and embody, because the body has been being prepared now for quite some time. I was made aware of that for me anyway, like 2017, but I know it probably goes back even further than that. They also showed me something to do with order. They've been bringing through messages about how the universe is fundamentally ordered, how there is a mathematics to it, and in that order there is divine consciousness. Like things that are chaotic or tend towards entropy, or there's no order to them, are not necessarily conscious in the same way or organized in the same way by this divine consciousness as something that is ordered will tend to be. What are the odds that the blueprint of a house is just going to like be created out of random chance? I mean, there's some probability to that, but it's very small. I know that God exists. I know because I work with spirit. I work with creator God. I work with that source energy. I felt it. I know it. But I feel like there's something about like atheists or non-believers or people who are very firmly planted in the third dimensional mindset that they could be shifting right now as well. So they're not going to be the ones who are watching this video. At least I don't think so. Like maybe it'll come across someone's path, but I think for the most part, this is something that like maybe you're witnessing this, or this has something to do with that fall of consciousness and then the slow rise or steady rise, increased capacity I'm hearing to be able to hold this frequency. It's like when enough people on the earth are holding that level of consciousness and are embodying that frequency, it then becomes more easily accessible to everyone else, including people who have previously existed in sort of like a rigid or closed mindset, whether it's religion or atheism or something else that I'm not thinking of. There's an opening and an expansion. I think that's why they used the word expanded when they were referencing different higher vibrations, because it is an expansion of the mindset. It's an expansion of the soul capacity, they're saying, and the ability for the body to hold more of the light body within it. They're showing me cells, cellular regeneration, and DNA upgrades, number 144, 144,000, light body activations. They're saying something about starseed activations now, or I'm sorry, integrations. They corrected me. Starseed integrations. So there's something about different constellations reawakening, they're saying. I worked with a lot of the starseed energy back in my first channel, To Kitty and Beyond. This is technically like my fourth channel now. The Divine Channel is my fourth channel. This just reminded me that another message that I have written down here from them was the number 4 and the significance of it. We'll talk about that, but I didn't put that together until right now. They're also showing me ascension from 4, 5, 6, and 7. So a progression. I have been seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, which is indicative of that progression. And again, these scales rising over time. As I was saying, I used to do like a lot of starseed content because I was doing Akashic readings, I was doing remote viewing and channelings, I was doing soul scan sessions for people, and I was reporting what I was finding through that channel. And I had a whole series on that channel, a whole playlist called Starseed Origins. If you're interested, check it out. It's To Kitty and Beyond. I'll try to remember to link it I'll link the playlist in the description box below. But yeah, anyway, that was like 5 years ago or something. And I'm now seeing it coming back, or like there's a resurgence, or people kind of questing for knowledge or information and then being guided toward more galactic based spiritual perspectives. That's not the only perspective that exists. There's different layers of integration of different realms that need to be had at different times by different people. But essentially right now they're showing me like a new wave of starseed consciousness opening up. Then they were showing me the 4 directions. So on the number 4, they were saying North Node and North Star. I did mention the North Node. Yeah, okay, so this is what they were kind of talking about here. They said new directions. They were showing me 4 points, 4, 4, 4, and they had me spell it out in words, not like 444 in numbers. But I know that that is an angel number about stability, building, protection. The 4 walls can have to do with home, like 4th house energy. They're showing me the armor. Yeah, the protection, the boundaries. That's a message that keeps coming out in the readings on both channels. So the number 4 being significant, they're saying ascending scale 444. So maybe it's they said 4 bits, something about bits and the number 4. And then they were showing me like a diagram. I'm also hearing the words cross section right now, cross section. A cross section, number 4. Yeah, it's like the 4 directions, the 4 points, the 4 corners. Cross section. I don't know what they're talking about there, but they showed me this like a diagram. So they showed me the y-axis and the x-axis, and they showed me like a line going up like this, and then one going straight up. Something about 90 degrees, or yeah, it is going straight up. So ascension, raise in frequency, and that diagram that they were showing me felt like it was talking about space and time. They're saying something about procrastination, which is like delaying or resistance, lack of motivation, inspiration versus inspiration. Okay, I don't know how this is all connected, but they're also showing me something about this ascension speeding up time. But it's funny because when they were showing me that, that was when the word procrastination came out. So I'm like, how do those two fit together? Procrastination, yet time speeding up? Maybe it's like kind of that theory of relativity type subjective experience of when you have a deadline, time seems to speed up, and then that makes the procrastination worse. They just said breaking the spell. Maybe it's breaking the spell of feeling stuck in time, and the resistance that shows up as. Procrastination could be part of that. This actually goes into something that they did say breaking the spell here as well. I wrote that down. They were showing me kiss, lips, lipstick, and a kiss. And then when I asked for more information on that, they said breaks the spell. And it was reminding me of, like, you know, Sleeping Beauty and Snow White and all of these Disney movies where a true love's kiss breaks the spell. I don't think it's about the kiss. There could be something about the lips. Lips are what allow us to form very specific words or sounds, because they're talking about music as well. So like the voice, the vocal cords, the mouth, something about speaking, singing, frequency emission, throat chakra, oral languages or oral traditions, something from the past being significant here, mysteries from the past being unearthed through time. They just said unearthed through time. Feels like digging up the past. And then it's like, it's almost like the example they just showed me. I don't think this will be literal, but the example they showed me was an archaeologist digging into the ground and finding a sealed tomb that they open up, and in that tomb there's like ancient music sheets with songs on them that have not been heard in thousands and thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. I just heard hundreds of thousands. And then taking a musical instrument and playing those songs again for the first time in eons, like in thousands of years. This is the example. And it feels like we're kind of almost like returning to the pre-fall consciousness of Atlantis, maybe Lemuria, and having that memory return, that frequency return, the accessibility of those things returning to us, and that increasing the consciousness, which then allows us to move through time differently, because the density of the body is impacted by the consciousness. And as the consciousness rises or expands, the body can hold more light or has to adjust to hold more light. And then as a result of that, it becomes less dense. The more dense something is, the slower it moves through time. That's why light can move so much faster than matter, like Earth. So here we have this example of the density decreasing and the time increasing, and being able to move into the future, or even to manifest or co-create in more direct ways. I'm also hearing, I just heard the word apprehensive. Who's apprehensive? Mass collective media. They're saying mass collective media. There's some kind of apprehension about this. There's some kind of delay that has been put forth, maybe because of the fear that's invoked through mass media. That makes sense, because it does lower the vibration, keeps people in like a stupor of hypnosis is actually what they're showing me. They're like, the example they're showing me is people staring at the screen, and those like big black like hypnosis things, black and white spirals. They're showing me that, and people being like, ooh, like by the fear. We know this is happening. But yeah, they are saying that was what delayed things, or that was intended to delay things, but it cannot. That's what they just said. It was intended to delay things, but it cannot. Spirit's the real news reporters. This is the real news. Point being that we're moving through space and time at an increased rate of speed, or the experience or the intervals between the consciousness expansion, the intention, the action, and then the result of that are going to be different. We're also aligning to different timelines and being able to access different points on the time field. They're showing me time field, and they're saying time mapping. They're showing me geologists and archaeologists again, so it feels symbolic. Earlier today, I was talking to a friend, and something about sedimentary rock or striations was coming up as well. It's like layers within the rock, or different densities, they're saying. Buried down deep. This could be like inner earth stuff that we're talking about, 2D consciousness, and the rise that comes from this upscale of whatever we're talking about here. The hidden history revealed, they're saying, hidden history revealed. And it feels like, again, that mysteries of the Sphinx type of energy. Something's being revealed. I feel like this mystery being revealed is what breaks the spell, because when you have awareness of something, it really fundamentally shifts the perspective on everything else. So it's like there's a new level of context that's being gained, scientific discoveries I'm hearing around spirituality and around consciousness. This is like that new age of Aquarius type of Pluto and Aquarius dynamic, where it's like revolutions in terms of the technology, not just physical technology like AI, but actual psychic technology, because the body is like a machine. That's why it's ordered. It was built very specifically to work this way, and it is self-governing and self-containing and self-creating and perpetuating. There's an order, there's a rhythm, there's a pattern to that, and they're saying something about repeating structures and intelligent design. Back to the lips and the breaking of the spell, it feels almost like there was a kiss of death, they're saying, versus a kiss of life, and the kiss of life in the Disney context is true love. So if we're looking at that from this spiritual vantage point, we're talking about Christ consciousness, we're talking about deep, true, highest love, not as a human emotion, but as a creative force. That is the ultimate blueprint of the design. It is based on unity, and unity is love. It cannot be any other way. So there's a frequency shift here that's occurring through this awareness, or through the embodiment of this energy, that breaks the spell. The spell that was cast, they're showing me dark magicians. They're showing me, ew. Okay. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. They're showing me like some dark stuff, okay? There was some dark stuff that went down. And they're saying something about fallen angels and dark priests and priestesses from the Atlantean timelines post-fall. Pre-fall, actually, too, a little bit, because they contributed to that fall. And they're saying retrieval of consciousness. They're saying shadow purging. And all these things are kind of coming up to the surface from within the sedimentary, from within the rock layers of the earth. So maybe there's like something coming up. There's grid work going on. I'm hearing dark portals opening and being closed. They're showing me Ghostbusters right now. Ghostbusters! But it's like how there's like a portal to this other realm, and then these dark portals open and all these spirits start purging and coming out into the reality, and the Ghostbusters have to go in and use their plasma rays, their plasma beams, that's significant too, to be able to put them back. I was seeing references earlier today to Mike Wazowski, and they just said, put that thing back where it came from, or so help me, so help me, so help me. Humor is good. Humor is helpful. You know, keeping things light, literally and figuratively, because this helps in this process. But yeah, putting some of those dark things back into the dimensions that they came from, partially being transmuted, but mostly those doors or those dark portals are being closed. And a lot of grid workers and a lot of light workers and indigo 1s are going to be working on that. The indigo 2s are going to be transmuting through the heart chakra, they're showing me, the sacral and the solar plexus as well. So like from here to here, well, you can't see the other half of my hand, but yeah, from like the hips to the collarbones. They did show me, in regard to this message about breaking the spell, something about sacred contracts, and the book Sacred Contracts stood out to me as well, by, what's her name? Caroline Myss. So I read that book years ago. I would need to refresh it because I don't remember what it was about other than the fact that it's talking about sacred contracts. So there's something of these sacred contracts that are being revealed. These could be part of the hidden mysteries. They're saying something about curiosity, so being curious as these things arise within you or within the collective. They're saying archetypal themes playing out, so pay attention to things and look at it as a neutral observer or as a witness. Try to kind of look at it as like a play, and you're looking for different plot points or characters, character analyses, things like that. You'll be able to start seeing patterns. They also said that these sacred contracts were connected somehow to a hidden reality. The hidden reality. And then they said dream. So this could be something within the astral realm, hidden in the astral body, projected out into some denser layer of the consciousness field. They said time field again, and now they're showing me the game Minefield, which pre-90s babies will, and maybe 90s babies too, would remember Minefield, which was like this old janky game that was available on every computer. And you had to, they're showing me the number 4 on the mapping. So you would press it. And it was funny because none of us really knew what we were doing. At least I didn't. I was always just like randomly pressing willy-nilly, and then the bomb would go off and I'd be like, oh, well, I guess I lost and I'll try again. And it didn't seem to be a pattern to it. And then I recently, actually like a few weeks ago, now that I'm thinking about it, now that this reference is coming up, I saw somebody talking about how you're actually supposed to play the game, which is you press on a random square and then it will show you around that a series of numbers. And those numbers will tell you how close you are to hitting a bomb. And so you kind of have to, like, if it says 1, that means that anything around 1 is potentially touching a bomb. So you'd go somewhere else. I still don't fully understand it, but basically it's like it's giving you a map and there's a pattern to where those bombs are located. And I'm hearing something about heat-seeking missiles. I don't think this is literal, or at least I hope it's not. But no, they are. Okay, they're showing me the scope. This came through in the live stream with the members as well. They were showing me like a laser beam and a scope on a sniper rifle. And I think that some of the light workers that are here on the channel or like out there in the world, even if they don't watch this video, what we're doing here is being able to kind of like heat seek out those bombs. They're showing me a bomb sniffing dog right now. Canine energy is also significant. They were showing me guardians, protectors, cats, and dogs. Okay, so anyway, the light workers are attuned to this frequency and are having, like, they're showing me like having a bomb suit on to protect you so you can go in and disarm these missiles. They're playing Ghostbusters again. So it's like going in and dealing with these portals or dealing with whatever's coming up from these pre-Atlantean fall timelines or from these cataclysms that occurred on the earth. And this like big purge that's going on in the collective, which is ultimately a good thing. It's kind of like, they just showed me an Egyptian tomb, Cleopatra's tomb, they said, and like a curse being on it, and like you open the tomb and the curse, it gets unleashed. It's like Pandora's box, but it's not a bad thing because in this case, there's like treasure in the tomb, or there's something of value that we need to discover. There's like history there that we need to uncover and understand. And in doing so, the curse is broken. So it is neutralized, or it is dissolved. This leads me to perfectly, I didn't even freaking plan that out, but I don't plan anything out. It's all just freaking stream of consciousness here. But they gave me the word solvent. And this came right after I had like some sticky stuff on my desk left over from, I had like put this little thing here that was holding my wires, and I ripped it off because I turned my desk around and it left all this residue, you know, like when you try to peel a sticker off and it leaves all that sticky residue, but it was like really sticky and I couldn't get it off. And so it'd been there for months and I just kind of ignored it, even though it annoyed me. And today, for whatever reason, I had this impulse, like I stopped, procrastination. I stopped procrastinating and was like, I know what to do. It just struck me all of a sudden. I have WD-40 in my pantry. I can go grab that and a baby wipe, spray it on, and boom, it came off super easily. Actually, first I went in with the like sharp edge of my pen and started just picking it up, scratching it off. And then I went in with the WD-40 and the baby wipe came right off like a dream. And when I asked what was this about, or why is the word solvent coming out, they said to remove or dissolve miasma. And miasma is like this dark density or residue that is left over from these periods of darker or fallen consciousness. Pain and suffering, I'm hearing. It's like the gunk. In this case, they're actually showing me gum underneath the table. And there was a previous message about the dark underbelly. So yeah, it's like something sticky underneath the table. In my case, it was on top. I could see it. So I knew I needed to deal with it. But for others, I feel like at the collective level, it's kind of been underneath. We haven't been able to see it. And we've had to kind of dip down in frequency leading up to this point to be able to see it, to be able to look at it and find it, seek it out, and then to pull it off and then rise up. So I looked up the word solvent because especially when they give me very specific words, very, direct channeling like that, I like to look it up because sometimes there's extra messages within the description, the definition, or the meanings that are on Google. And it said, a substance that has the ability to dissolve a given solute to form a solution. And earlier this week, they were showing me messages about finding the solution to a problem. No more procrastination, I'm hearing. There's the solution being given, being downloaded, becoming accessible. And it was like that epiphany moment of like, oh, I can get this shit off my desk because I have the thing. I've had it this whole time. I just didn't really put two and two together or have that thought that I could, or that even that desire to want to get rid of it in such a, direct way. So this feels like what we're talking about here. And they're saying speeding up again. And before I jumped on to do this reading, I was doing my hair and they kept saying, don't delay. Because after I was finished doing my hair, I was going to go do something else. And they said, don't delay. And I'm realizing now that with this message about procrastination, what is procrastination? A delay. So they're saying heat-seeking missile. They're showing me that again. And they're saying seeking the resistance. So seek out the resistance, whether it's within you, whether it's showing up in your life in the form of procrastination, or in terms of the grid work, like find the points of resistance where that tension is. They're showing me a cross section again, and they're saying like this. So it's like where these, this could be where these energy lines cross or meet. Dragon lines. They're saying Sphinx as well again. And something about like the cross points where there's whirlpools, vortexes, portals of energy. And they're being cleaned out. All the gunk, all the miasma is being removed. Okay. Dissolution, and they're saying dissolution of time. Is that something to look up? Dissolution of time. Meaning? Dissolution of time means the concept of time seemingly dissolving or ceasing to exist, often used in a philosophical or metaphorical sense to describe a state where the perception of time fades away, losing its linear structure and becoming boundless or timeless. Well, that's what they were showing me with the cross-section of that, or with the graph. It was like, it went from going like this to straight up, and it was like, that was the time scale, the y-axis. So it all of a sudden just, time just stops, or the experience of time changes. Time is experienced as speeding up, they're saying, yeah. And there's something about timelessness or moving outside of the time dimension. Losing its linear structure and becoming boundless or timeless. Yeah, boundless. Again, they were showing us in previous messages on both channels, themes, repeating themes of boundaries. And I was seeing all sorts of different references to boundaries, not just like interpersonal boundaries, energetic boundaries, soul contracts and boundaries, but also physical boundaries, the boundaries of time and space, the boundaries of borders, countries, states, provinces, all sorts of different boundaries. They were showing us fences, actually, in the live stream that I did with the members, fences. Okay, so take from that what you will. Interpret that with your own spiritual guidance, and your team will support you in this. They want me to keep reading more about dissolution of time. Okay, before you go, we'll just do this one last thing. Loss of linear time perception. When time dissolves, the usual past, present, future distinction blurs, making it difficult to distinguish between the different moments. Actually, I do experience this as a channel and as a medium. I do have a hard time tracking time, and some of this was previously connected to like my brain function, but I realize now that's part of it, but it's mostly because I'm operating at a different consciousness level. And so my perception of time is just fundamentally different. And that's not an excuse for being late. I try to be on time as much as I can. But the way I experience time is very different. And I do experience past, present, and future kind of in this now moment. And that's why I can tune into future events, see them coming, have precognizance and all of that, is because I am not separate from the future. It's happening now. And same thing why I can read past lives is because, and tune into the past energy in general, is again because it's happening now. It's existing outside of time in the no time, which is the ever present now. So that could be happening to more people, or more people are tuning into that. You may be experiencing that, and they just want you to have an awareness of it so that you're not like, what's going on? Time feels like it's speeding up, or it's like not there and I'm confused. It can be a little disorienting and ungrounding at first, especially in a world that operates on very sort of rudimentary time functions like watches and calendars that really don't actually have anything to do with the nature of time itself. Okay, the next one is experiences of transcendence. In spiritual or meditative practices, dissolution of time can be associated with a state of deep awareness where the self dissolves and one experiences a sense of unity with the present moment. Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like Eckhart Tolle's book, Power of Now, is coming to mind. I'm seeing references in my mind to the void, like entering into the void space. That's what it's like. It is like being in that unity point. There is no time there. And then lastly, the metaphorical usage. This phrase can be used to describe situations where a significant change occurs, causing a sense of disruption or discontinuity in one's perception of time, like a major life transition. And I was seeing references, now that I'm reading that, they were showing me earlier today, references to like midlife crisis. So Earth may be going through kind of like a midlife crisis right now, or we're going to be seeing that in the collective, but it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the divine order, I'm hearing. And this major life transition is necessary, and it's a phase of development. So the light workers who are here to help to kind of ease this transition and make it go, just more smoothly, less bumps in the road, they're showing me. Thank you for your service. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being here. We're being congratulated on the work that we're doing and the proficiency at which we are continuing to express our divinity in these ways to help the collective. So I want to say a big thank you to those of you who are here on the channel and resonate with this and who are doing this work or feel called to do this work now. And thank you for supporting me in doing my work and my part for the collective, which is this among many other things. Like I'm jack of all trades when it comes to metaphysical stuff. But anyway, I digress. I will leave the reading here. That's what Spirit wanted to bring through, and I am out of time. So I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Don't forget to check out my other channel, It's Tarot and Beyond, where we do pick a card readings for the collective, and you can get a little bit more direct messages there as well, like personal messages. And if you're looking to book with me, I'm not currently taking any reading offers right now. I just filled up, but stay tuned. If you're looking to get a reading from me, I will always announce them here and on my other channel. And you can book a spot when they do open up. All right, I love you guys, and we'll see you in the next reading. Bye.